Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now inside this PC is a GTX 1080, 16 gigs of memory and an Intel i5-9400F. Because I found myself rambling and unable to make a video shorter than 97 minutes long when previously attempting to talk about this chip, I decided to set myself a time limit. At £150 here in the UK, this 6-core CPU is essentially the successor to 2017's i5-8400, though this time round it has no integrated graphics. What it does have is a slightly higher clock speed and the ability to run all of your favourite AAA games with ease. For example, here it is exceeding 100 FPS in The Witcher 3, here it is exceeding 100 FPS in Far Cry 5, and here it is exceeding 100 FPS in Battlefield 5. Yes sir, it sure seems like a great CPU. But in all honesty, it doesn't really do any better than the 8th gen and aforementioned 8400, and it still shares the same common competitor, AMD's Ryzen 5 2600. That's a lot of hundreds. As far as most games are concerned, the i5-9400F will come out on top with less effort, i.e. slapping in a cheap motherboard with some 2666MHz RAM. It can't be overclocked anyway, and I don't recommend using a high-end Z370 board just to increase the memory speed. A Ryzen 5 2600 is still a fantastic choice here too, but to close the gaming gap and guarantee the domination of the i5 in most scenarios, you'll need to buy a more expensive chipset motherboard and faster DDR4, not to mention a better aftermarket cooler. While we're on the subject, the stock Intel cooler is okay at best. It keeps this CPU fairly cool, 33 degrees idle and 62 degrees under load, but it just gets too loud in my opinion, and unless you always wear headphones, you'll probably want to replace it. As far as productivity is concerned, the i5-9400F actually surprised me. In Premiere Pro, editing and rendering videos was a very pleasant experience. Before we compare it to the Ryzen, let me just take a moment to say that if you want to buy this, you've made up your mind and you've settled for Intel 100%, but you think you might want to create some content further down the road, then this 6-core, 6-threaded processor will still do a respectable job. It's only when you compare it to the Ryzen that you see it isn't as fast. But put it this way, it's a decent CPU in its own right. Not everything always has to be a comparison. And it's a good job really, because the i5 would lose most of the time. Okay, but seriously, I mean what I said. The 9400F is still a decent worker, but if content creation is your game, then your £150 would be better spent on the 2600 from AMD. This scenario is pretty much the same as it was with the i5's predecessor, the 8400, as far as both gaming and productivity is concerned. If all you want to do is play games and you have no interest in overclocking, then the i5 might be right for you. In fact, if you can find the 8th gen 8400 at a lower price, it might still be worth considering that one because of the onboard GPU. You never know when you might need it. If though, you want a more well-rounded package, a jack of all trades, then the 2600 might be your ideal chip. Just like last year, the conclusion totally depends on what you want to do with your PC, but I will end by mentioning another factor worth considering. It seems we should expect the Ryzen 3000 desktop processors at the end of May. Maybe they're even out at the time you're watching this video, in which case perhaps disregard everything I've said. These processors will support the same AM4 socket, but it's hard to say how they will impact Intel's current lineup or how Intel will retaliate. It's so hard or basically impossible to talk about this new i5-9400F without making comparisons to AMD's lineup, and to be honest, you have to. Anyone looking to spend this sort of money is likely going to hit this crossroads, and while the path to the i5 might be lined with higher gaming frame rates, the route down AMD alley might just be more likely to pull you in with its better all-round performance. The i5 is certainly a great no-nonsense chip, and it will make many PC gamers very happy, but I'm not quite sure it's the CPU you should be buying right now. And on that note, I'm going to end. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, leave a dislike if you didn't. Let me know which one you'd go for or which one you've got down in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one.